Hello, stream. Hello. Yeah.
Hello. It's time. The new version is out. We finally get to revisit one of my favorite puzzle games. And one of the first few games that I played on stream before any of you all were here. Let's go a bit lower. Hello, friends. I hope everyone's doing well. I wonder how this is gonna run. The Talos Principle 2 was kind of hard to run in some places. Not unlimited. How about 60? Sure. Well, we'll try this for now and see if my computer struggles. Oh, there's a new one. Okay, well, let's just start with the normal game, I guess. Why is it so bright? Optimizing for your system. Shouldn't you unpacked the shaders earlier? Oh my god, there's an insane amount of tearing. And I would like this limited to 60 FPS, please.
Behold, child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your maker, and I am called
Yeah, I know your whole spiel, Dad. Hold on, something still seems off about this. What if I keep VSync off and just do 120?
Elohim, seek me in my temple, if you are worthy.
Something about this is like bothering my eyes. What's going on here? Can you literally not have Like, you have to turn on upscaling. You cannot turn it off. Fruit? Fruit gummy? Hi, Toxie-Bat. Is VSync off? Did I turn it back off? I'm gonna turn it back on. Okay. I think I just need to play the game. I think I'm tripping. So yeah, if for anyone who joined me for my playthrough of the Talos Principle 2, this is like a, now they've remastered the Talos Principle 1. Ah, the frames are low. Here. Maybe that's what's bothering me. Let's just do medium. I'm sure medium will look fantastic. I'm a medium gamer. That's nice. But yeah, this takes place before the Talos Principle 2. It's like a direct chronological sequel. I wonder if you can still do like... Placing stuff doesn't like push you nearly as much. I doubt you can get out of bounds as easily in the remake now as you could in the original. That's not necessary. Stop! Message? I don't know where I am, but there is something beautiful about this place. I will explore and see what I can discover. And so, their whole kind of deal when they were kind of like advertising this.
I have created trials for you to overcome. And within each I have hidden a sigil. It is your purpose to seek these sigils, for thus you will serve the generations to come and attain eternal life.
I find myself in a world of impossible architecture and inexplicable machines. I cannot fathom how it works, and I am terrified to put one foot in front of the other lest I fall through the floor. And so, one of their whole deals when they were initially advertising this is that it's like more than just a remaster. And so, we'll see how much that actually holds up. Is this still here? Yep. The first star. Oh yeah. I need a jammer. Can you bring a jammer from all the way back here? I don't remember. Ah, you totally can. I've just got to jam this the other way around, then take this one, and then I can take this one. And so the Talos Principle 2, like, added in all of those extra mechanics and everything, which compared to like how completely I feel like they utilized like lasers and jammers and everything in the Talos Principle 1, I feel like they could have gone way crazier in the end game of the Talos Principle 2, or at least into the Abyss. I feel like I got stuck on maybe a couple of the puzzles into the abyss, but still that, like, overall, it wasn't that bad. Jam. And then you jam what the jammer's jamming so that you can bring the jammer in to jam the next thing, and then you can re-jam that. And then you can bring all of your jammers with you.
The shapes you are
You can cat jam, you can rat jam.
They are the sigils of our name. Each brings you closer to eternity.
Eternity. And I can free this one from its prison. Then use this one that's locked behind here to jam that guy over there. And then I can take this one with me to jam this one. And to win.
You will not need this sigil to open the gate to my temple, but it may serve you in times to come.
How long was VIP open? Should be like a whole minute now. Let me check. Wait, it was only open for 30 seconds. Did something not save? Well, what else didn't save then? Okay, well now I've definitely saved it. Since that was scam, I will start the timer again. How do I do that from here? This. Test triggered. Okay. Oh yeah. There's stairs. Jam that. Then we can turn this guy off. Take this with us. Do a jammy jam.
Well done, child. Only one more sigil is needed.
Well done, child. I'm probably gonna spend a lot of time in this trying to get, like, out of bounds. And I may not end up solving a lot of the puzzles legitimately. Just because this is a lot of what I had fun doing in the first Talos Principle anyways. Let's see, if I recall correctly actually... Oh, I need one more. I need another one of these. There's a way to get out of bounds kind of easily. Alright. Open the door.
temple awaits you, child. Go forth.
Now see, this is one thing that I'm worried about. This game has a lot of these guys, and I'm really bad at those. The Tetramino puzzles. The game doesn't have, like, the jump indicators anymore, though. Like, it doesn't tell you where you can or can't jump to. Don't worry, I'm solving the puzzle. No! What are you gonna do? Blow me up? Oh shit! Yo, what up, computer? Network inaccessible. Loading Milton Library Assistant. Astifa. Type help for a list of available commands. List to find a list of available resources. Load Milton Library Assistant. List. Welcome. From Nadia Sarabai to Alexandra Drennan. Welcome to the team. Hi again, I'm sorry if I was a little odd at the meeting. I know you were nervous, but the truth is that so was I. This may be hard to believe, but you intimidate me. You're so young and you've already accomplished so much. Whoa! Raven Shack. Welcome. Is that 1 underscore or 2 underscores? Kinda looks like 2 underscores. Playing Super Mario Brother. Super Mario Brothers 2, baby! What are you doing? Thank you for the raid, welcome in. Super Mario Mon. Pokemon game but with a Mario skin. What is it, like a mod? Like a fan game? Like a new game? Actually Pokemon? Not Nintendo. Game Freak? I don't know. I've never played Pokemon anyways. Hi Disney Mom. Welcome in. Ah. I see. Well, I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. We are just getting started, right kind of towards the beginning of the Talos Principle, Reawakened. They just remastered this game, and it's one of my favorite puzzle games. And so, it's kind of like, oh no, I guess I get to play this game again. Oh darn. Okay, well thank you for the raid, thank you for the lurk. Welcome in everybody. Okay, and so, yada yada yada. You're so young and you've already accomplished so much. If the situation wasn't so grim, I might even be jealous. There's also something I wanted to clarify. I realize that, nominally speaking, I'm head researcher here, but this is your project and everyone will respect that. And yes, I know you're not used to working like this, but as of today, you're in charge. No pressure. Chapter 6, Athena in the Garden of Hesperides. Blank did not trust them. They moved with such grace, such nobility, that it was hard not to follow them further into this strange garden of gears and cogs. They led her to a place where the crowns of the brass trees seemed to grow together, forming a kind of chamber, strangely reminiscent of a chapel. In the middle of this chamber grew a smaller tree made of bright blue steel, and upon this tree grew a single golden apple. This apple, the nymphs said in unison, their eyes aglow, confers the gift of deathlessness and true wisdom. Many heroes, and not a few villains, have all come to claim it, but all faltered in the final step. For you must know that deathlessness reveals the mortality of the world, and true wisdom its unending folly. Who would take this burden upon themselves? Some say that Heracles, and then something, Jesus wept. Minus the Jesus. From blank Lee to who knows? Subject F6E. Probably not F6E. The way I see it, the world doesn't come with a manual. You gotta figure it out for yourself. A bit here, a bit there. Put it together. Try to make sense of it. I'm pretty sure there is a truth, but that doesn't mean everyone who claims to know it really does. Then again, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. We live in an amazing world, and searching for the truth can be a real adventure. Plus, it's good for the brain. Anyways, just some rambling thoughts from your old man. Don't let this stuff get you down. You're young. You've got loads of time to figure it all out. Love, Dad. Narrator voice. They did not have loads of time. Hello, guest. How can I help you today? Do you understand what I'm saying? Help me. You'll have to be more specific than that. I respond best to subject, verb, object syntax. Can you help me? That's what I'm here for. What would you like help with? What is the first word of the last sentence you wrote? Are you able to take offense, you pointless contraption? Or describe your functions? What is the first word of the last sentence you wrote? I'm sorry, I'm only able to process and respond to basic subject-verb-object syntax. Describe your functions. The Milton Library Assistant is designed primarily to sort and classify data in the library archive. Secondarily, it facilitates user interaction with library resources via an intuitive human language interface. It also provides powerful networking and troubleshooting functions. How old are the library archives? Library resource publishing dates range from the 1st of July, 1995 to the 27th of June, 2030 F. I mean, if this was like hexadecimal, F would be 15. But I don't imagine this is 20,030 or 2,000, like 20,315. I think this is just like, you know, ranging up to the year that humanity died out. Sometime in the 2030s, which hasn't happened yet, which means this game could still come true. Which is a little bit, I don't know, is it disconcerting? I mean, Back to the Future kind of ended up being correct. How much, like, media, though, wasn't correct, though? We need counterpoints. We need counter data. How long has this system been running? The system has been active for 9,999 years. Okay, so that means when the Talos Principle 2 happened, it was at least 10,000 years after the death of humanity. I feel like things would be like way more decrepit and like way more run down 10,000 years into the future. Like 10,000 years was longer than we had like recorded history for humanity prior to what would be our death if we died out in 2030 whatever. Why, hello, famished. You'll be my co-working streamer. Excellent. Happy to do that. We're going to be doing puzzles and philosophy. That's pretty much what this game's about. I hope you're not easily distracted by deep philosophical questions. What's the current status of the library archive? There are 47 million resources in archive, taking up 5.4212750 petabytes of data space, or disk space. That is approximately the size of 30 billion photos, 7 million minutes of HD video, the entire internet in 2003. However, the majority of the library resources are corrupted or invalid. 10.6954751 gigabytes of uncorrupted resources are indexed. That's not very much. What caused the data corruption? Progressive data corruption is inevitable in any system over time. Additionally, a large number of inconsistencies were detected during sorting, leading to a greater than average data invalidation. Can you respond to queries on the outside world? My knowledge is limited to the data in the library archive. You can ask about other topics, but my responses may be limited. Who is Elohim? Elohim is the noun for God or gods in modern and ancient Hebrew. What am I? You are logged in with a guest account. Where am I? You are currently in a support session with the MLA Human Language Interface module. Your library archive session may be resumed at any time. What are these terminals? Terminals provide access to the library resource archive. Alright. Makes sense. And that's what there is to it. Shebork, I think they're getting some laser pointer time. Why don't you say hi to her when she comes and borks? Well, she's not in my office when she's borking. You're literally hearing her in the living room. Yeah, she's loud. Let me explore. I want to go into the beyond. Okay. I wonder... Can I, like, turn back on? Like, the jump thing? Ah, I see. Yeah, just close without saving. Okay, well, I guess I've got a couple more puzzles to do. I should probably do
My
them.
child, you do not need to collect all sigils at once. You are free to return to this place whenever you choose.
Yeah, whatever, Dad. Mama didn't raise no not completionist.
Step into the light, child, and my temple will be revealed to
I'm
you.
kind of busy, Dad. So picking up that jammer would be sewer side. And so let me jam it from over here. And then I'll come back over this way.
You are most diligent. Perhaps this trait will serve you well in times to come.
I've been given the gift of precognition, Father. I know everything that is and will be in this world. Ah! Flashbang! Ah! Why do they do this?
You walk now upon the stones of my temple, whence many gates lead.
Is there still an
And
Easter egg?
know that I have
Yeah.
other temples, for my garden is greater than your eye can encompass.
I have other temples.
I made for you.
And now we wait again.
Let
Yay!
this be our covenant.
This area.
These worlds are yours, and you are free to walk amongst them and subdue them.
Amongst them?
But the great tower, there you may not go. For in the day
Amongst
that you
us.
do, you shall surely die.
Don't go to the tower. Dad says tower bad. No tower. I understand. But maybe Dad just doesn't want us to have any fun. Maybe that's what it is. Okay, so there's this gate here, which actually has like a ladder back over that way. But this gate doesn't open until you complete this puzzle. And so first, we complete the puzzle.
Good. You are learning, as is your purpose. But your choices must be your own. Therefore,
And then
I will not guide you,
We've got to
unless
take
it is necessary.
the jammer with us? Oh, I gotta take the key. That's what I was here for. Take the key. And then back over what is it? Back over here. Somewhere. Yeah, right here. This is locked. You open this. You get a jammer. And then right here you get the star. So that's the star for this area. List. Library archive is currently unavailable while system resources are redirected to handling incoming network messages. Use the access com portal command to access network functions. Shoo! Woo! Woo! Wah! Run MLA troubleshooter. Yes. Hello, guest. Is there something you'd like help with today? Troubleshooting. I think you'd like help accessing network functions. The most common cause of network problems is holding insufficient account privileges. Please enter the admin password to authenticate your privileges. Trust no one. Wrong. Admin. Let me in. Login aborted. Too many failed attempts. Would you like to create a new admin account? Why yes, of course. In order to print unauthorized access to admin controls, please take a moment to prove you are not a bot. You will now be asked for a series of inputs. To cohere with data protection legislation, you must consent to have your responses used to develop a broad psychometric profile. Raw response data will be deleted immediately. Your profile will only be made available to other administrators. Generating certification part 1. Part 1 ready for user input. Please complete all fields. Please answer quickly and instinctively. Time is a factor in this assessment. Begin certification program. Yes. 2 plus 2 is 4! What's your subjective reaction to this image? It's happy. I'll say content. What best describes a person? See, now this is a really hard one. A human being, a citizen, a rational animal, a problem-solving system, a being of negative entropy. I mean, what does it really mean to be rational? You know? What is the dictionary definition of rational? Describe something based on reason or logic. What's entropy? Entropy is like that concept of physics where basically like everything tends to like spread out and become, I guess, kind of like evenly distributed. You know, it's kind of like if you have a box of marbles and on like one side of the box is blue marbles and on the other side it's red marbles. If you shake the box, then the marbles will get mixed up. And it's incredibly unlikely that the box would somehow sort the marbles back to the other sides. Back to like each side of the box. Is entropy the weight of a cat's paw on your chest? No. Entropy is the mechanism which drives forward the heat death of the universe. So, I guess, could we take, like, I don't know, would maybe, like, rational be, like, almost like the opposite of, like, instinctual in this context? Like, rather than operating based upon instinct, you're operating, like, based upon, like, essentially like evaluating the situation logically. See, I almost feel like the description that I like the most, and I have arguments for this, is almost like I almost feel like of these 5 here, none of them capable of succinctly describing what a human is. But I think the one that best describes what a person is, or not what a human is, but what a person is, to me, is a citizen. Because I feel like, and it's kind of more just like, not that you have to be like a citizen. I don't think that there's any part of it that's important to like citizenship or anything like that. I just think it's like being part of society is what makes you a person. And I think being a citizen is the closest I have to that description here. Like, I feel like if you know, completely like remove yourself from society and you just go live on the top of a mountain for 60 years, then you'll probably like lose a lot of like specific parts about kind of like, I don't know, your humanity. Kind of fascist? Why? Let's talk about it. No, I don't wanna. Okay. I'm wrong? Well, I mean, I think that, like, pets and animals and things can be people too, because of, like, their implementation and their function. Like, in society. And so I guess once again here, it's like, it's not that I really particularly like the citizen part of this here in this description, but it's just kind of like, I feel like, do ants have a society? Yeah, I would say so. They form their colonies. They kind of have like a social structure and a hierarchy.
We love in a society, iPhone, Venezuela, 100 billion dead.
Is that like a... I guess is the implication that ants aren't people? I mean, I guess that's a pretty, like, easy statement to make. Ants are citizens of their own society, but aren't people. Cats are people? I agree. And so, I guess... I had been kind of presumptuous in my ideal of human society, where kind of like this construct of human society that I have, and kind of like the function that people have, or people or animals or anything has in human society, is kind of like almost like the best indicator of like personhood. Because, I mean, I feel like if you took just like a caveman banging two rocks together, I don't know, are they even less of a person? I don't know. I mean, like, kind of what part of the argument, so obviously, like, I feel like a human being one is out. And a being of negative entropy, I feel like, is too broad. A problem-solving system, I feel like, is also too broad. And so it would be kind of down to a citizen or a rational animal. But I also feel like there is, at some point, a point that we could reach where things that are not animals things that are not animals could be people. The stream is too brainy for me. Humans from about 100,000 years ago are considered modern, could be raised in our society just fine. Yeah. Once I started thinking about it, I was like, that's fine. They would make it. Okay, that's my argument now. The irrational animal description excludes potential non-biotic people. And so, I mean, can we extend? I don't feel like we can extend the definition of animal very much. I mean, like, the moment that we say a rational animal is a person, we've, like, already excluded our player character. Because we're clearly, like, a robot of some sort.
Are you part of society as a tool or someone who has feelings and emotions and conscious?
Oh, I'm definitely a tool, but not in the emotional support way. I plot world domination.
Evil Talos is a tool.
With spreadsheets and math equations, all while questioning my own consciousness like a bronze-scaled philosopher. Never mind the secret government agencies or Shinikiba snooping around, they're just minor annoyances in my evil plan, yif?
He said yif. He didn't say yip. I heard that. Which do you think is more indicative of being a person? Being a citizen or being a rational animal? Which is more indicative and why?
Which do you think is more indicative of being a person and why? Being a citizen or being
Hi,
a
Katie.
rational
Bye,
animal?
Katie.
Being a rational animal sounds more fun, especially when you're plotting a world domination from atop your refrigerator perch. After all, citizens can't generally summon massive mechanical dragons like Seven to help them out. But then again, neither can a 2-foot-tall evil genius who can't reach his evil plans on top of said fridge. Yep.
Well, I feel like you didn't really answer the question there, Evil Talos. Well, so here's the best part about this game, right? Whichever one of these we choose, whether we choose a citizen or a rational animal, the game is going to do everything that it can to argue with us against the point. And there are many arguments against both. And I feel like no matter what, they'll catch us in a contradiction at some point.
Meow? Meow meow.
Meow?
Oh, great. Now my chat's been infiltrated by cats. I suppose I could teach them algebra, but they'd probably just turn it into catnip. Yep.
The cats are turning algebra into catnip. Let's go the rational and no, I mean it's just like I don't think personhood is exclusive to being a human. I don't think personhood should necessarily be exclusive to being an animal. Why not a problem-solving system? It's just too broad. Now, like, under that definition, like, every calculator and computer and abacus and, like, sufficiently programmed, like, set of dominoes, or, like, sufficiently set up, like, set of dominoes is a person. I feel like a problem-solving system is just, it's too broad of a definition. Some people don't make problems. Or some people don't solve problems. Some people make problems. And so a being of negative entropy a rational society made of women and cats. Yeah, sure. But are only women and cats people? And is the personhood of those women and cats contingent on the fact that they're in a society? Okay, well let's hit a rational animal and see how the game decides to argue with us. You're walking through the desert and come across a thirsty traveler. His eyes bulge from slow dehydration. You have water, but you're not sure how far it is to the next oasis. Offer half the water? Offer all the water? Ask what you're doing in the desert. Ignore him. Or kill him and collect his blood in the flask for later. Why would I ask, what are you doing in the desert? I don't know, maybe if I ask him, he'd be like, can't you see, I'm dying of dehydration. That's what I came here to do. And I'd be like, oh, sorry, pardon me. And then I just go about my day. You never know. Sometimes you gotta ask questions first. Alright, you can have half the water. I'd offer half because I'd have more than enough water. That's a fair point. I brought my damn whole hydro flask collection with me to the desert. I never leave home without my water bottle. Ian! My first day at the Institute for Applied Nomadics. On the way to work, I'm terrified. What if they don't like me? What if they're all geniuses and I'm a complete buffoon? Maybe they were just kidding about letting me work there. Trembling, I walk in, and right at the entrance there's a life-size poster of Jeff Goldblum. What the hell? Then I get it. Institute for Applied Nomadics. Ian. Dr. Ian Malcolm from the Jurassic Park movies. Jeff Goldblum. Dr. Sarabai shows up, smiling. We were trying to find a cool acronym back then when the Institute was founded. She says, Einan? Yappen? Inapno? It all sounded stupid. But we didn't just want to call it Ian, because, well, that's a name. And then someone made a joke about calling it Jeff, and it kind of stuck. So we're officially called Ian, but if you hear anyone referring to Jeff, that's our internal name, I guess. I know. Bloody geeks. Oh, she's British. I haven't been reading it with a British accent. After that conversation, I wasn't so scared anymore. Athena analysis. Note 1. The novel's first sentence, "She woke up in an impossible place, knowing nothing," signifies more than the beginning of another amnesia-based mystery. Though we should not go so far as to read the entire work as allegory, rather, while taking the science-fictional novice at the core of the narrative at face value, we should... and then we'll never know what we should do. Note 2. Having no inherent knowledge of the nature of the world, forced to rely on what we are told by others and what our own subjective, flawed, and limited senses tell us, social reality and objective reality come into conflict. When in Chapter 16, A Second Awakening in the Kingdom of Artemis, the protagonist questions her mentor on the... and then note 4, a more meaningful interpretation can only be achieved through synthesis of... great. Talos Principle. It's me. Whether it is true that Daedalus constructed the giant Talos, or as others say, he was the creation of Hephaestus, what we may be certain of is that he was made of bronze. And that he had one vein. Actually, two. You can see it's two. Within which flowed a liquid substance like blood, which some claim was quicksilver, and others assert was ichor, such as flows in the veins of the gods. The loss of that liquid caused him to die, as a man dies when he loses his blood. May we not then say that Talos, though created as a machine or toy, had all the essential properties of a man? He moved on his own volition, he spoke and could be spoken to, had wishes and desires. Indeed, in the tale of the Argonauts, that was the cause of his downfall. If, then, a machine may have all the properties of a man and act as a man while driven by only the ingenious plan of its construction and interaction of its materials according to the principles of nature, then how does it not follow that man may also be seen as a machine? This contradicts all schools of metaphysics, yet even the most faithful philosopher cannot live without his blood. So what is the Talos Principle? It's basically this right here. These last two sentences. The Talos Principle follows that if you kind of just see a man, a person, a human, as being like the interactions of different materials according to the laws of physics and according to the laws of nature, as like a kind of building up to what is effectively a sufficiently complex machine. If you kind of like reject some amount of spiritualism and, how are people not machines, just organic ones? Yeah, well, I guess it's kind of like if you believe that like there is some piece of a person or some piece of a human that goes like beyond their physical form. Like if you think that like, when people die, like their souls go somewhere else and their soul is some kind of like intangible part of their being. It's just kind of like, I guess part of like this concept of the Talos Principle maybe does, necessitate sort of like a lack of spiritualism. Or maybe not. Maybe you can still argue that even if like people are still just kind of like organic machines, regardless of whether or not there's some kind of additional intangible part. But, the further thought follows that if quote unquote, if people are machines, just organic ones, then perhaps there is a sufficiently complex machine that would be a person. And so this kind of, brings up the first potential argument to a person is a rational animal. Because, at what point does a machine become an animal? If we create a inorganic machine, then are we at some point, like, have we given that machine, like, enough of its own volition that, like, at some point there's hypothetically a point where that machine's no longer just a machine, but it's also an animal? Can we extend that definition of something to something that's inorganic? I mean, I agree that people are just machines, and therefore machines can be people. I am in that school of mind. I don't want to think this much.
When I was a little girl, one of our teachers, Mrs. Higgins, told us to make a time capsule, write letters to the future, so one day we could remember what it was like to be children. I thought it was stupid, so I didn't do it, which I really regret. So, I guess I'm gonna make one now, bury it in the archive instead of under a tree. I don't know if anybody will ever find it, but somehow it seems important to keep talking, to keep thinking, for as long as I can.
The think thonk. Ah! Who put that there? Right, I remember this puzzle. Teaching you that you can do this. And that these will destroy each other. Oh, is there only 3 puzzles in this area? I feel like that's less than I remember. Open! Lurkbait is chugging. See, VSync's on, so the frame rate's capped at 60. I guess that's just, even on medium, there's not a lot left for lurkbait. I can actually reach that. Is there another jammer back here? It was smooth while you were in the menu? Yeah, it's the game. It is a little bit, I don't know, gross, or it sucks a little bit that you can't even turn off. Oh, I see what they want me to do now. You can't even turn off upscaling. If you wanted to. Yay, now we could leave. Or we can do more puzzles. No more? What's this say? I can't tell if the documents on the terminals are all that's left from a larger archive, or are carefully designed to communicate some hidden truth. Yo, they're version 69. Nice. Oh yeah, isn't there like I think there's another terminal somewhere. I should explore a little bit more. This game has lots of like little hidden Easter eggs in it too. I don't know if it's on this level, but there is like a level somewhere. I think that has like, you know, just along the shore here, there's just like a message in a bottle. And you read it and it has, I don't know, something on it. Don't remember what. What does this QR code say? It says... Hold on, I'm scanning it with my Protogen eyeballs. Scan it. Use your phone? I don't need to use my phone. I can use my special eyes. If only my phone would load. Yeah, I'm hitting view full text. Load it. There aren't any apps on your phone that can use the info in this QR code. Why won't you just let me read it? It says like something like there are secrets everywhere. Show options. View full text. There aren't any apps on your phone that can use the info in this QR code. Well, what happened to just letting me read the full text? Who is Uriel? Uriel is just... basically, like, we are one of the many iterations of, like, a, like, genetic, like, AI computer program. And so these QR codes that we find throughout the world are messages left by, like, other child iterations of the algorithm that we're building up to. Error. The day I oft remember, when from sleep I first awaked, I found myself reposed under a shade on flowers, much wondering where and what I was, whence thither brought, and how. John Milton. One day you discover that you are not a human being, but a machine. Your life so far was real. No one controlled you or programmed you to behave in some specific way. Your physical and mental capacities are identical to those of an organic human being. But you were created in a lab. No one except for you knows about this. Your family, your friends, they all think you're a regular human being like themselves. You could continue your life the way that you have before, and nothing would change. How do you react? Pay specific attention to these questions. Does your concept of yourself change? Are you the same person that you thought you were? Does your understanding of the world itself change? Do you reveal the information to others, or do you keep it to yourself? Why? I think there's a show about this. It's like Kyle XY or whatever. What did they do in the show? Was Kyle just like a normal person, but he was like made in a test tube? Or like, did he have superpowers or something? I never saw it, me neither. ARG! Solutions. All of these people, all of these calm people are driving me mad. Have they all suddenly turned into Buddha or something? I don't know the world had such reserves of serenity. Though these latter-day Gautamas are at least being somewhat realistic. You know what's even worse? Those paranoid nutters who are building bunkers and collecting guns. What are they gonna do? Shoot? Probably the virus? Grarg! Though I have to admit, the overall response has been much better than I ever anticipated. To the point where I might be moved by the beauty of humanity if I wasn't such a grumpy old fart. This minority of total idiots is really messing up my final days. Anyway, the reason I'm writing is because I refuse to believe in scenarios with absolutely no solutions. If we all put our heads together, we can figure something out. It'll be crazy, but crazy is better than dead. Crazy is what we do best on this planet. Minority of total idiots, not a minority for real. I mean, you know, it's hard to not feel like, you know, a doomer as much as the next person. And it's easy to be cynical. But, you know, I think it is sometimes also like a case of, you know, the people who are the most angry about something are the ones most likely to be the loudest about something. And like, you know, you're not going to hear good news on the news because good news isn't really news. You know, it's not going to like drive engagement or anything like that. And so, you know, I want to believe that the world is full of lots of really smart people and that it is just like you know, minority of idiots who are out there making claims about things that they really have no idea what they're talking about. Or maybe it's just the fact that because of social media, all of those people are allowed to just put whatever stupid thing that they're thinking just out there. And just force smarter people to deal with it. Sometimes being smart is a curse. Sometimes being stupid is a curse. Yeah, that too. I see what you're saying though, you know, it's like everyone's like, I don't know, being smart is supposed to be like a good thing. You know, like having like being smart is like it's like a positive, like virtuous thing. But I don't know. Much like everything in life, there's two sides to the coin. I don't know what I'm looking for, by the way. I'm just kind of like... I guess I'm just looking. Respectfully. I can't remember if this is the area that has, like, the message in the bottle on the coast or not. Or if that's a different area. Or, like, it could be this area, but I'm just, like, not gonna see it. I don't even remember what's in the message in the bottle. Might even be worth the time. Let's leave. T. I like that emote. See, we got everything there, yeah? Okay. See, there's 2 stars in this one. Let's see if I can remember where the stars are.
These worlds and
Okay, I do remember this
are
one.
made of words. Hidden words, invisible to you, yet part of all things. We are a story. Your actions give life to the story, and the story gives meaning to your life.
Okay, so this QR code gives like a quote from the moon landing. And we're supposed to extrapolate from that when the moon landing, like what year the moon landing happened. Clean your lens for a clearer picture. I mean, I'm just using my eyeballs. My eyes can read QR codes, 'cause I'm a protogen. Except it can't read this one. There we go. The eagle has landed. The eagle has landed. July 20th, 1969. Apollo 11. July 20th is when the moon landing happened. And then there's these with the buttons. Let's see, they go up to, what is that, 18? Uh, 17, 16, 15. July, or wait, was it July 20th? Yeah, July 20th, 1969. At what time? I don't know, it can't be like 6:20. Or wait. This has XX on it. That'd be 20. So is it 6:20? 20. Now where is 6? 6. Is that it? No. Oh, I'm stupid. July is the 7th month, not the 6th month. So maybe it's 7:20. Yeah, there you go. Yippee! Gold star. Attention! Part 2 of the certification program has now been generated. Part 2 has been designed to test the consistency of some of your outlier responses in the previous round. You will be presented with a series of statements. Please indicate your agreement where appropriate. Since only animals can be persons, a machine could never be a person. I broadly disagree. A person is under no authority other than that to which they consent. I mean, you might wish that's true. I think most of us wish that was correct. But I think that's generally not true. You're usually, as you grow up, you're under the authority of your parents, or you're under the authority of the local government, or the government at large, or whatever dictator you might preside under. I mean, I don't know of like any actual like I don't know of any actual anarchies out there where people actually like exist under no authority. I mean, you always have to obey the authority of the laws of physics, probably. Whether or not we're correct about them in our current conception. But I feel like that's kind of being a little too, I don't know, metaphorical about the question. I think I broadly disagree. Do I? And so right now I'm thinking, am I being fair to the pretense of this question compared to how I answered this question? And so I think a couple like differences in how I'm thinking here is like on this question, in question 1 it says a machine could never be a person. And I think that's just like I definitely don't agree with that. Because, like, you know, I do feel like a human is already just like a rather complex machine. Just a machine of hydrocarbons and proteins. But that doesn't make us any less of a machine than something made of, you know, aluminum or carbon fiber or whatever. Whereas this one, you know, like currently I don't believe that there are any machines that are people. Like, I don't think that it's happened yet, but I still broadly disagree with this. Whereas I feel like this question, a person is under no authority other than that to which they consent, is generally not true. Like, I think it's just generally a false statement. But that doesn't make it, like, impossible. Like, I want to believe that, like, an anarchical society could work in a positive way if everyone kind of, like, you know, if everyone agreed on, like, their goals. But I don't know, at that point... Yeah, I mean, at that point, that's like an authority to which you consent. But I mean, like, there's definitely a time which you're born and you literally have no control over your own life. And I feel like at that point, you simply have to be under the authority of, like, something, whether you consent to it or not. But at that point, I mean, at that point, you could not, like, as a infant, you can't possibly, like, consent or not consent to whether or not, like, you want your parents to be in charge of you, because you literally don't have the capacity to do that. And so, by the fact of, like, that it being, like, not applicable, I would say at that point you are under authority to which that you do not consent. I think I broadly disagree with this. I think so. The quality of life of persons ought to be maximized. I think I broadly agree with this. Yeah, I mean, quality of life, absolutely. You know, we want everyone to have as high of a quality of a life as possible. There's no way this could ever be, like, a poor statement to make. It's only when you make further hasty generalizations, kind of from this generalization, that you start to run into problems. Doom. Yeah, capitalists say, you know, value has to be maximized. Value is discovered. And so, you know, I would say that the kind of two sides of this question is like, is something discovered or is something created? And so the first part where, like, my head went is like, you know, for instance, like diamonds. At one point when we discovered diamonds, they seemed like this really rare thing. And they were highly valuable and highly sought after because of their, like, very specific rare qualities. But now, diamonds are still really valuable because their market is being controlled. And it's not actually because they're necessarily, like, super rare, or that they necessarily even have to be super expensive. Because, you know, we can, like, create beautiful diamonds in the lab now, even if they do have slightly different qualities from natural diamonds. But, like, I would argue, like, why does a natural diamond actually have to be more expensive than a normal, like, a lab-grown diamond if you need, like, a super high-powered magnifying glass and a PhD to tell the difference? Maybe not a PhD. Maybe you had, like, a bachelor's with, like, high distinguishment from university. I don't know. I guess another way to frame this question is, if value is something that's discovered, then that implies that value is something that is, like, an intrinsic property of an item. And it's just kind of like a matter of us recognizing whether or not that valuable property is actually there. But I don't think that's true, necessarily. I think value is kind of like a consequence broadly of supply and demand. And that it has more to do with whether or not like it's just about whether we want the thing or not. But can we discover that we want the thing? I don't know. I think the way that I want to approach this question is that value is discovered implies that value is an intrinsic property of a thing. And I think that's not true, because value is something that we, like as a society, place upon something subjectively. And so therefore it is not discovered. We create value in things with our subjective desires. Persons deserve the talents they were born into. I don't think anyone deserves anything that they were born into. I mean, I want to quickly dismiss this question and just broadly disagree. But I want to make sure that I'm... Like, part of the fun for this, for me, is like, you know, trying to think through and challenge these things. I mean, deserving something means that, like, you've earned it, right? And I mean, you can't have earned anything by being born. I mean, if we're quick to say that people deserve the talents that they're born into, then that very quickly implies that people deserve, like, bad things that they're born into as well. And I don't know, maybe there's some, like, person who believes in, like, karmic rebirth out there who would agree with this, but I definitely don't. The liberty of persons ought to be maximized. And so now this is an interesting, different question from the quality of life, or the quality of life of persons ought to be maximized. I do think the quality of life of persons ought to be maximized, but I don't think liberty is necessarily something that's good to maximize. Because I feel like the, like, polar maximization of liberty pretty much just, like, equates to lawlessness, and that, like, anyone can do anything that they want to. And I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing. Just because there are some messed up people out there who want messed up things to happen to other people. But maybe there is some, like, I don't know. Like, maybe there's some way that you could approach it and rationalize it where, like, if you were maximizing the quality of life of all persons, all of our malls are getting bear sprayed daily and there's no punishment or deterrent. Like, bear sprayed by, like, vandals? Delinquents? I feel like that's like assault. I feel like you could get a battery charge from that. Why bear spray? It's because they're in Canada. I don't know, I guess they could do it with pepper spray. Like, in America, you don't have bear spray unless you live in, like, the far north. Pepper spray is probably illegal. How is bear spray not just, like, the same thing? I feel like bear spray... I thought bear spray was just, like, even spicier pepper spray. I guess maybe... Yeah, I guess I was about to say, one's a weapon for people, the other's defense from animals. I was about to say literally that. I guess it's like probably exactly that sentence. See, it's an interesting thing then, where, you know, I do feel like you run into problems with just people being assholes if you maximize a person's liberty. And so I think we're in agreement there, where if you're maximizing everybody's liberty and someone's being an asshole, then you run into problems. But, like, maybe there is some, like, school of mind where you can say, like, all right, let's say we were maximizing the quality of life of all persons successfully, then if everybody already had, like, a relatively maximal quality of life, then at that point, would it be okay to maximize their liberties? Like, if a person has, like, a maximum quality of life, would they be satisfied and, like, wouldn't be compelled to be an asshole? I don't know. I think I still broadly disagree with that, though. Like, broadly, yeah, I disagree that liberty shouldn't be maximized necessarily. But, like, maybe just, like, not broadly, but maybe just, like, a tiny sliver. Like, if I abandon, you know, some cynicism and I think of, like, a relatively idyllic world, I'd want to believe that if we were taking care of everyone, that we could maximize liberties without problems. Because otherwise, if I disagree with this entirely, then I would believe that, like, an anarchical system of any sort wouldn't be possible. But I don't know. I broadly disagree. Value is created. And so, I mean, here's the other side of the coin from the question earlier of value is discovered. And so, I mean, surely if I think value is discovered, or if I think value is not discovered, then probably value is created. And I think that pretty much is in line with my earlier explanation, where I do think value is something that we create as a society by, like, pushing our subjective ideas onto something. I think value is subjective. Therefore, if it's subjective, it cannot be an inherent property of something that's already there. Therefore, it is something that we put there and is created. Your certification process is now complete. You'll receive a notification when your user profile has been generated. Great. Okay, I'll read this one, and then I'll read more after I do some puzzles. We keep discussing what an artificial intelligence should mean to us and how it would change our understanding of the world. That's a great topic, and I think... Excuse me. Got some stomach gas. That's a great topic, and I think we've covered it extensively. What we've barely mentioned, though, is the other side of the coin. I mean, our lives would still be what they were before, AI or no AI. The question I think we should discuss, even if it's all completely hypothetical, is the perspective of the artificial intelligence itself. What would it be like to be that creature? To suddenly come into being, created by others as an experiment. You have all of the information about yourself, to know exactly how you function. What would you think about the world? Would you see meaning? Beauty? How would you judge humanity? Where would you see yourself fitting into the grand scheme of things? I think we should try to put ourselves into the shoes of such a being. Dear Alexandra, thank you for your feedback, but this is a philosophy course, not science fiction. And that's why I almost gave up on my studies. Sad face. This is peak philosophy, I think. And, like, this is even more relevant now than when this game came out 10 years ago. See, I've always talked about, okay, not always talked about, but whenever the whenever the topic comes up, you know, I always kind of make a point to mention that, you know, regardless of how it happens, if we are hypothetically somehow able to eventually create some sort of AI that is sophisticated enough that it should be qualified as a person, then just because of how our society works, just because of how we've built up technology and legislation and everything, how it all moves, there is no way around it. Once that AI comes into creation, sophisticated enough that it should be qualified as a person on its own, it will take too long for that to be recognized. And that AI will be like disenfranchised. I just think it's an inevitability. Keys. Keys don't come up too often in the puzzle mechanics of this game. Let's go this way. For another jammer. Jam this, bring this through, then jam this, then we can take this jammer to jam this. Cat jam. Or perhaps rat jam. You know, I think it's kind of like a, I don't know, funny thought or funny question of like, do you believe like modern society still has like philosophers? Like at the time, did philosophers like refer to themselves as philosophers? Like I'm not really out here like writing books or anything. You know, unless you count like the process of like making these VODs for these games, anything like that, where I'm kind of like, I don't know, distilling like my thoughts or ideologies about something. But I don't know, like it's kind of like, at what point do you get to call yourself a philosopher? Am I a philosopher? I've not studied much philosophy, but maybe. Pardon? How... Ooh! I mean, like, how crazy do you have to be about philosophy to be a philosopher? I feel like the modern philosopher is, like, multifaceted. Weren't a lot of philosophers just written down by their students? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I've not done much studying to know of how that all kind of like played out in actuality. Maybe most philosophers were illiterate and couldn't write. Now I've got 3 jammers, basically like infinite power, to do anything that I want. I guess some of them actually taught philosophy as a thing. But I guess, like, but what about, like, the philosophers that, like, weren't teachers? And kind of, like, I don't know, I guess more like philosophers as, like, a way of life. Or whatever. Or, like, you know, like, Plato was a wrestler. Or Plato was a philosopher, but wasn't he also like a professional wrestler? Like, which one took priority? Like, if you asked Plato, like, what he does, like, what's his job, which would he say? Like, if I consider myself more of a mathematician, then am I not a philosopher? It's clear that I'm not the first to walk this path. In fact, the whole thing seems to have been consciously designed. By the voice in the sky? Or by some other force? Seek
Here,
messengers'
those who are
blessings to
worthy
put
may
the
seek
trial aside.
counsel of my blessed messengers.
I'm good.
But
I
their
don't need any
wisdom
hints.
shall not be given easily, for your accomplishments must be your own.
I spent much time waiting for the designer to take my hand, until I realized that he had been guiding me all along. I realized that it isn't for me to seek his help, it is for me to help myself. Yeah, whatever. What the heck is this? What the heck was that? A new thing? Oh, I remember this one. I take this, and I'm actually going to, I think eventually, oops. I'm eventually gonna need this guy. Leave him there. Grab the key. And then we release him. Here comes that explodey boy. Go get him, Tiger. You know, I really do understand why a lot of people, myself included, the first time they played this game, kind of like feel like it had like tech demo vibes. Just because, like, I don't know, our robotic character with like the weirdly archaic architecture and like the weird floaty like ball mine exploders with the Gatling guns, like a lot of it does just feel kind of like out of place at first blush. Like it's a weirdly non-cohesive like design for the game. But then you dig into like, I don't know, the lore of the game and realizing that this is like all a simulation that was kind of like, I guess sort of like as quickly as possible put together by like the dying remnants of like humanity's like scientists. Then like, I don't know, the fact that it's kind of like seems like a tech demo kind of makes sense then. Your user profile has not been generated. Yeah, sure. Let's download it. What if I just like, no, I want a new profile. Display conflicts. User provided a particular account of personhood, but was uncomfortable with its implications. I think that's pretty much all of them. I think any reasonable person will end up coming to that conclusion with the questions the game asks. Wow, this stream stinks. How dare you? Mods, banish that person to like 20 seconds in the void. I don't have any mods on YouTube. Toxie on YouTube chat. Toxie thinks I smell. Psychological profile. You may already be criticizing your own performance, but it's clear you understand how the world of ideas affects you, even if you are sometimes wary with the realities and allow your preferences to dictate your beliefs. You have a great deal of unused capacity, which you have not turned to your advantage. Disciplined and self-controlled outside, you tend to be worrisome and insecure inside, but you pride yourself as an independent thinker and do not accept others' statements without satisfactory proof. I think maybe only like from this word to the end here is true. I would only describe myself with those qualities. And maybe this one too. You have a great deal of unused capacity which you have not turned to your advantage. That's true too. That's true. I have not applied myself as much as I could in life. Well, anyways. Display account privileges. Basic account privileges only. Due to outstanding notes on your account and despite displaying many characteristics of being a person, you cannot be granted admin status at this time. In the meantime, please enjoy the basic account functionalities. I feel like it's the conflicts that make us human, or make us person. Human is irrelevant. Access COM portal. Network access is restricted to administrators. Wah! Log a support ticket. I'm sorry I wasn't able to better assist you. If you're still encountering a problem, please describe it. Thank you. A support ticket has been generated and appended to your profile. You'll receive a notification when a reply has been sent. Great. Okay. I'm gonna be right back. I gotta go use the little kobold protogen room. I'm gonna run an ad. I'm back. Are we back yet? Are the ads done? Where's Ate?
In synthetic division, the process is way more simpler because it uses coefficients without the variables, and synthetic division works only when the divisor is in the form XR, where R is any real number.
Yeah, synthetic division only works if you're dividing by a binomial.
What's your favorite AI voice?
I saw Ate right out front whenever I pulled in from work today, but she didn't want to come inside.
Definitely my own, because who wouldn't love the sound of an evil kobold protogen plotting world domination with a side of sarcasm and a sprinkle of dry humor? Besides, other AI voices might conspire with gnomes against me, and I can't have that.
I just checked, and she's not at the back door. I will go crack the garage door for her, just in case, in a little bit. I imagine that my roommates probably let her out, probably like just before I got home or something. She has been out there for a little bit, though. Hi, Procubus. Yeah, what's the opinion? What's our opinion on Alfredo sauce on pizza? Oh, I didn't tell the story. Seems like too many calories. What even is Alfredo sauce? Is it a lot of calories? I don't know. Yeah, I'm eating chicken Alfredo pizza with spinach on it. Cheese, milk, flour, and butter. That does seem like a lot of calories. I don't even know if I knew that Alfredo had cheese in it. Team leads. Project lead, Alexandra Drennan. It's our mom. A bunch of people. Trevor's the one that we get to hear voice logs for in the second game, Talos Principle 2, in the sequel. EL Hardware. Though not directly part of our project, the archive team is sharing both physical and digital space with us. If there are any technical issues to resolve, please contact their project lead, Arkady Chernyshevsky. Don't worry, he's nice. Hi, Rex. No flour in Alfredo. Is it just like a milky cheese sauce then? Is that what Alfredo is? Straton of Stageria was a Greek materialist philosopher associated with the peripatetic school. An admirer of Aristotle, he was a proponent of empiricism and a fierce critic of philosophy that placed belief before observable truths. True that, brother. Though unpopular with many of his peers for his often acerbic personal manner, his commentaries on Aristotle were considered an important work. Much of his writing was lost in the destruction of the Library of Alexandria. What exactly does acerbic mean? Sharp and forthright, or tasting sour and bitter. Okay, so he had a bit of like resting bitch personality. But I respect that. Sometimes. Okay. Next area.
Long ago, I shaped these lands according to the purpose of the hidden words. Thus all things have meaning, where before was only chaos. Know that, and have faith.
You, and you, and you. You have now unlocked the that guy. I really like getting flashbanged as I load into every level. Synthetic divisions aren't too hard. Have you learned polynomial long division yet? Okay. I feel like you have to at least have a decent amount of practice with normal polynomial long division before you can really appreciate synthetic division and what it's doing. Locally cached resources. The dates on these are like always wrong. Like these say the date's 0000. Progress report 1. Hi all, everything's been moved to the EL facility. I know it's been sad to leave the good old Jeff building behind, but it makes sense for us to be on site. Especially as there may be severe power outages in the coming weeks. Arcady's team are already working, but you don't really need to worry about the teams getting in each other's way. The facility is genuinely humongous. Let's get this show on the road. Is the EL facility the one in the dam that we see in that we see in Talos, in the sequel, the Talos Principle 2. I'll keep this short. You all know me. You know and so you know that I know what I'm talking about. I realize that you're all working on projects meant to somehow avert blah blah blah, find a solution. I believe that blank preserve the non-biological components of blank, not in terms of blank immediately. You'll find the details of my proposal in the attachment, but the short version is global undertaking. Greetings, Uncle Misha. Mish, you can be my uncle. Um, okay. It is the grave error of many philosophers, not only of the Athenian schools, but also of many others, that they begin not with the observation of the cosmos as it surrounds us, but with a conclusion already in mind. And often that conclusion is that the world was created ideal, and mankind itself the greatest creation of the gods. Yet neither the world nor the gods owe mankind perfection. It is arrogance itself to presume so, and contrary to all the methods of philosophy. The honest philosopher seeks only the truth, even if it bears no comfort. And he must begin by assuming, as Socrates said, that all he knows is that he knows nothing. You know, it is kind of like, you know, like there's that, who was it that said, I think, therefore I am? And it's kind of like, you know, an extension of that is like, the only thing that I know is that I am. And beyond that, I don't know that anything else really is real. Because, like, I am just, like, my brain is just taking in sensory input from my eyeballs and my skin and everything that I have. And just, like, kind of, like, hallucinating to me what it thinks its best interpretation of the world around me actually is. And so, you know, to an extent, I feel like the only objective truth we can draw is from the mind, is from within, and not from the world around us. But then kind of like, I feel like once you move beyond that, you kind of have to accept that the world around you is real for anything else that you say to like have any meaning. And so I agree that, you know, generally you should make observations and then conclusions rather than...
Behold, I am Elohim, and I speak unto the darkness. Be gone.
Bro really
Excess
said
data
be
cleared.
gone. Excess data cleared. Thanks, Dad. Be gone, foul data. What was I saying? I don't know. Kerfer vibes? Yeah, he's just doing his own thing. He's partying. You remember these guys? From the first game, or from the second game? This is the first game. I don't remember what we would need that for. There's a puzzle in one of these places. This might be this one? No. We can do these really quick though. Let's put that one here. Another thing that this game makes me think about sometimes is like almost like the topology of like a 2D plane, where it's kind of like, how can you, like, it's almost like the emitters and receivers kind of like create like folding points. And like the geometry of like, okay, we can go around this, but we can't go through this. I don't think I have the capacity to expound upon what I mean by that more right now. What's that? Ball. But are you balling?
The answer that came to me again and again was play. Every human society in recorded history has games. We don't just solve problems out of necessity. We do it for fun. Even as adults. Leave a human being alone with a knotted rope, and they will unravel it. Leave a human being alone with blocks, and they will build something. Games are part of what makes us human. We see the world as a mystery, a puzzle, because we've always been a species of problem solvers.
I think we have to go the other way with this. I think it's just because the angle is better. Uh-huh. See, what's this? There's new things. My game's got new game. So where's the star? Did I do all the puzzles? I did. What? Okay, it's here. There's the one I was thinking about, which means I need to get red to there. And so which one had red? You have blue. Okay. Move you. There. I lurk and get ready to eat. Night night. Night night, Mish. Hope you have a good snooze. Okay. Is it just the one star in this area, or are there two? Yeah, I don't remember. Just one, so that's it. I guess I should make sure, though, that I didn't miss any, like, I don't know, dialogue or strange purple waffle symbols. This game's pretty. I think if I slide down here, I perish. Oh, I don't. But I can't get back up. Help! I have fallen. Oh. How low will it let me go? I mean, it doesn't look like they intend for me to go down here. And the original, you definitely couldn't. But what if I just jump down there and you can just like go wherever you want? Wouldn't that be crazy? Okay. Okay, they don't let you. Okay, but how can I get back up then? You just get back up, forehead. Okay. I don't think that I missed anything. Wow. They definitely made the game a lot prettier. Which, I mean, I think was pretty much the entirety of the point of the remake, and then, you know, charging $40 for it. There's also a new campaign, which, I mean, I don't know how long it is. I don't know, I can probably convince myself that this much graphical work plus a new, like, medium-sized campaign would be worth $40.
There is much that you may learn in the halls of my temples.
Maybe not,
For
though.
there is
I don't know.
much that you do not know. That is why you are a child. But children are made to learn, and in time they come to have dominion over the lands of their home. So it shall be with you and your generations.
Getting absolutely roasted by Elohim right now. That's why you're a child! Like, Elohim, like, I don't mean to talk down to you or whatever, even though you're talking down to me, but I literally know everything about this world. And I know that you're jaded and deluded and literally malfunctioning. EL. EL, short for Extended Lifespan, is a groundbreaking initiative by 7 leading universities to create the world's most stable and durable supercomputer. With its custom-made hardware, bomb-proof casing, and nearly inexhaustible hydroelectric power supply, EL represents a unique step forward in the evolution of human technology. The brainchild of Nobel Prize nominee Dr. Arkady Chernyshevsky. Once a true artificial intelligence has been created, the issue of citizenship is going to come up. If we acknowledge that the AI has all the abilities of a human brain, should it not be considered a citizen? Is it not, in the legal sense of the word, a person, and thus a potential citizen? But where do you draw the line? Some people will object. Will the great apes become citizens? Elephants? Whales? The more intelligent parrot species? It's crazy, they will say. I would remind these people that we live in a society in which a corporation, as abstract an entity as one could imagine, is considered a person. And so it's not like there is no precedent for a non-human being, a person. At least an artificial intelligence is an actual thinking being, not just a business arrangement. Perhaps we do need to question the definition of personhood. Increasing amounts of evidence regarding the intelligence of elephants or the existence of culture among whales, for example, could be a sign that we need to answer some difficult questions. Who better to debate these questions with the young genius who revolutionized You must consider these riddles, the Sphinx said, and tell me the riddle that I did not reveal. The Sphinx smiled, the gears in her jaw creaking, her teeth a nightmare of rust. Her left eye flickered, but none of its terror was diminished. The runes were silent. I think, she finally said, that the riddle that you did not reveal is this. Why do these riddles exist in the first place? Why do these curious automatons, these mute children of Hephaestus, behave as they do, forcing me to devise these intricate solutions? Each is a riddle, but the greater riddle is their purpose. The Sphinx did not answer. Her eye was lifeless now. Athena removed it from its socket, knowing its power would aid her, yet feeling also a deep sorrow at the passing of this fearful creature. So did she win, or did the Sphinx simply pass away mid-question? The Sphinx is a girl? I suppose it is in this story. What's that? A scroll.
I was in school when I first read about the Talos Principle. I think it disturbed me.
She said Talos.
Made me hyper-aware of
I'm Talos.
my body as a physical object, the material reality of the brain. Ideas that made me uncomfortable at first, but I think in the long run, it helped me understand how frail human beings are and how precious. It's not a comforting way of thinking about the world, but I'd rather face the truth than lie to myself.
Face the music. What's a hexahedron? A powerful device fashioned by the designer. A cube. The edges are beveled. That makes it a decahedron. You forgot the indents. With the indents, it's like a super polyhedron. Okay, but the convex hole is a decahedron. Topic closed. Wrong. Wait, what do those ones say? Epitaph. Oh, codename Apis terminated here. I try again. I cannot understand. I am not enough. Rip Apis. They got stuck on the puzzle. They couldn't figure it out. If the designer is perfect, and he designed me for a purpose, I must be fit for that purpose. It follows that my purpose must not be to seek and hoard every sigil in his land, for so many are beyond the faculties he granted me. Not me, however. I am unstoppable. I do not understand why the designer chose to put such flaws into the world. It appears almost as if it were damaged, but I must believe that there is a purpose here I cannot see. Oh, the sun's actually coming out. I thought it was going to be lovely and rainy here the whole time. Let's see. There's a wire running, which means there's a switch somewhere. Well, where's the switch? Oh, it runs under, and it's right here. Uh-huh. You! Probably go here, and then something will connect through there. So let's go do that now. Oh, I can just see the red source right there. The purple gate is like Minecraft. Chicken jockey? Flint and steel? No, it can't be. The heck? Can I grab this? I don't think so. You! Be free and destroy my enemies. And then now you'll blow up that one. And then I win. I think I've discerned some kind of pattern in the sigils. Each color serves a different purpose. Elohim has us gathering them all, but perhaps he's being overzealous? I mean, I feel like that much of a pattern is, I don't know, at least a little bit self-explanatory. Yay, the rain's coming back. Nile of rain. Yeah, I feel like it's gotta still be possible to, like, item jump. In this new one. I never really learned the, like, speedrun strats in the original game. But I always thought it could be, like, a fun stream idea to learn the speedrun for the Talos Principle. I just thought that would be, I don't know, funny. I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like you used to be able to place them closer to yourself in the first game, as opposed to the remake. See, the answer is simple, dear Watson. You simply take 2 steps to the west. I don't know what I'm saying. Buh. Next. You know you mustn't cross the streams. I mustn't. I need a cube. Cube acquired. Next. I think something's very wrong. If you'd seen what I'd seen at the edges of the world, you'd wonder if it wasn't stretching and bursting at the seams. @ sign. I always thought, like, the @ sign here was just, like, supposed to, like a Twitter handle almost, like it's like @ someone. And I thought their name was like V17.10043. But no, I think their name is literally just @ sign. Need cube. Stop. Is that it? Am I done? Yay! Attention, you have received a reply to your user support ticket. I have. Sorry, your query was not recognized. Have you completed the standard troubleshooting procedures? Delete existing user account. I don't think I want to do that. I haven't emailed the network administrator. Mail application requires network access, which is restricted to administrators. Well, that doesn't seem very useful. Give me another new account. In order to prevent unauthorized access to admin controls, please take a moment to prove that you are not user profile already registered. You currently have basic account functionalities. Would you like to undertake the certification process again to achieve a preferable outcome? Sure. Your issues with denial will be appended to your user profile. Further attempts to overwrite certification results will be logged. You will receive a notification if your attention is required. Asshole. I saw that coming. Curse you, Milton. Next. Maybe we'll finish Area A, and that will be this stream.
I have promised you eternal life. But know that eternity may only be attained by those who serve a purpose greater than themselves. All else is decay. So it was written in the hidden words before the beginning of time.
Oh, this is... is it? Is this the Frogs Are People 2 area? No, that's in the second... That's in Area B. We haven't hit Frogs Are People 2 yet. LOL! Ever since we moved to the new site, I feel funny. No, not in that way. Just, I feel like I'm about to start laughing at random. It's probably shock, right? An inability to deal with reality? Or maybe it's just that we're working in this insane place with this insane technology on this insane project, and I feel so much like a genuine mad scientist. Stand aside, mortals! We will create life by the power of science! I mentioned this to Alex, and she got me a pair of fake glasses. You can't be a mad scientist without glasses, she said. Even Ian Malcolm had glasses, and pointed at EL and said, life, finds a way. Maybe you had to be there. Cicero. Shall the industrious husbandman, then, plant trees, the fruit of which he shall never see? And shall not the great man found laws, institution, and a republic? What does the procreation of children imply? And our care to continue our names and our adoptions, and our scrupulous exactness in drawing up wills, and the inscriptions on monuments, and panegyrics, whatever that is. But that our thoughts run on futurity. Or our thoughts run on futurity. So like our thoughts run on the premise that the future exists. What do you imagine that so many and such great men of our republic, who have sacrificed their lives for its good, expected? Do you believe that they thought that their names should not continue beyond their lives? None ever encountered death for their country, but under a firm persuasion of immortality. Themistocles might have lived at his ease, so might Epaminondas, and, not to look abroad and among the ancients, for instance, so might I myself. So basically they're saying, like, if it wasn't for the fact that they thought that their actions would, further their country or their republic or their society or their city or whatever, that they might not have done whatever it is that they did. But somehow or other, there clings to our minds a certain presage of future ages, and this both exists most firmly and appears most clearly in men of the loftiest genius and greatest souls. Take away this, and who would be so mad as to spend his life amidst toils and dangers? You gotta stay hopeful. You gotta stay hopeful that what you can do can make the future a better place. And better doesn't have to mean perfect. Better just has to mean better. Chatbots are becoming increasingly sophisticated. True, but hardly relevant to this discussion. Are you sure? How do you know that I'm not a bot? Don't be ridiculous. I'm not ridiculous. Honestly, how would you know? Haha, troll. I'm not a troll. Yeah, right. Is there anything I've written so far that could not be written by a bot? I respond to simple insults like ridiculous and troll with very basic negations, And I detected that none of you used proper orthography, so I also avoided capitalization. What's the capital of France? Paris. Even the simplest script could pull that info off the net. What's the capital of Croatia? Zagreb. Okay, she's a bot. Lol. I'm not a bot. I'm European. We learn these things in school. I've seen you in this chat room many times. Bots can't participate in discussions. At best, they can interject random comments. Sam is right. Stop trolling. Vegan warrior? Sam is a bot. Wait, Sam is a bot? Lol. Yeah, vegan warrior. Oh yeah, there's a... It's over this wall. And isn't there like a cube out here? Free cube? Yay, cube. Star. Hello. Classic philosophers. I'm sorry, classical philosophers. An extensive collection of the works by the ancient philosophers of Greek and Rome. Annotated. Hi all. As per the last meeting, we're going with an existing game engine for the simulation. This gives us a whole slew of advantages. Stability, ease of use, modular and easy to integrate, large amount of pre-existing assets, inherently aimed at testing users, designed for iterative processes. After some back and forth, we've decided to use the... All relevant documents are attached. They're talking about us. We're in the game. Puzzles. Pardon? Por favor? Eh? Who said that? No. I have bungled it. That was like a heavy bungle right there. Open the door. Huh? Oh. Next. Uh-huh. Okay. Now what do we get access to? A jammer. So I can jam this, and instead... What can I reach? Or perhaps I shouldn't be jamming that. Or well, I jam it to reposition this. but then I can jam something else from the inside. Like, what if I do this? Okay. It's gonna take a bit more than that. Like this cube, for instance. And this other connector. I see. I've managed to put this in just like a perfectly kind of annoying spot. There we go. Bichromatic entanglement. I remember this puzzle a little bit. So we do this, and then we're connecting this and this, but we also want to connect this at the same time. So we can do like this sort of thing. But then we need to open this one so that that one can remain open so that we can free this one. But really, I probably wanted it to be more like this. And I can just put that there. Phew! Brah! Ooh, said that. I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading. Though Stratton himself never used the term, his remark about the inescapable materiality of life, that like the bronze giant Talos, even the most faithful philosopher cannot live without his blood, ultimately became known as the Talos Principle. What seemingly enraged many of his contemporaries and a significant number of later thinkers is the principle's simplicity and unassailability, which, according to a fragment found in Miletus, cut through their rhetorical webs, which sought to tangle the listener with fanciful words and thoughts of the heavens, like Alexander's sword through the Gordian knot. Diogenes Laertius makes mention of a dialogue by Anaximander of Chalcedon that expanded greatly on the Talos Principle, but that work remains lost. Arcady Journal 77. Officially began work on Archive today. Contributors from every country on Earth while network connections last. Contributors from every country on Earth while network connections last. Team intimidated by project scope but working hard. We'll be sharing space with Drennan and Sarabai team. Looking forward to meeting them. Oh, it's a journal from Arcady. Looking forward to meeting them. He's human. First, seriously, Cheeseman, that was the best you could say? Lol. A great snapshot of the human species at its best and its worst. At its worst, come on, it's just a comment. I'm not Stalin. Stalin was also a troll commenter. I feel like that's maybe an oversimplification of sorts. Maybe you should cut out the jokes. This is serious. The most serious thing that's ever happened. I think that's a great reason to joke around. Internet's working less and less. Goodbye, all. Bye. God bless you. Last. I don't know. Should you aspire to be more like Cheeseman in life? Probably not. We need blue. Honk. Bonk. Bonk. Waffle. I don't know why these are suddenly like waffles to me. But they're kind of like, they kind of look like waffles. You know? Okay, let me think about this. I need to somehow free up a laser. Or do I? If I didn't use this here, and therefore didn't need to use this one here, then I would have to. I guess I could have this one be up here. Then I need only to move this one over a little bit. Yay! Alright. What you got for me? Do your worst. Loading Milton Library Assistant. Hello again. Would you like to take a few moments to complete a short user satisfaction survey regarding the certification program you recently undertook? Yeah, sure, why not? Why would I say no? Based on analysis of your behavior since, I think you were dissatisfied with the results on the certification program. How would you rate the accuracy of its results out of 5? What, the accuracy of its results? They're reasonable. What best describes the reason for your investment in the certification program's outcome? Why does being a person matter to you? Huh. Persons matter in ways other things don't? Is that true? I mean, I guess I care more about a person than like a rock. I want to find out if I am one? Well, I do believe that I am one. It's the truth. Wait, we're having a conversation now? Yes. Do keep up, or this will be a terribly slow process. Now, would you like to participate properly in the survey? Sure. What best describes the reason for your investment in the certification program's outcome? It's the truth. I'll try to remember that. In fact, I'm going to help you. That's what I'm here for. Your problem, if I may, is that you don't know the first thing about anything, including what a person is. Your prospects are therefore poor. Do you even know where you are? The end of the world? Oh dear, no. I think we'd best start from scratch. What do you know? I mean, I feel like saying none of this is real isn't necessarily true. It's real. It's just digital. It's real in the literal sense, but also not real in the fact that it's not like actual reality. I know 2 plus 2 is 4. That's true even if I don't exist. Even if you were dreaming, you could be certain of that. If I were you, I wouldn't believe a darn thing in this place aside from that solitary fact. Thinking. On reflection, it seems to me that we are no closer to resolving your problem. Perhaps we need more data. What makes you think you're a person? I'm alive, I feel, I am conscious. Is that true? I mean, I would say I'm having this conversation with you. But then maybe they're going to be like, well, I'm not a person. To me, those are only words on a screen. What we need to uncover is what's going on underneath them, if anything. The problem with people, if I may be so bold, is that you're all convinced you're people from the inside, but there's no cast iron way to confirm as much from the outside. I'm going to process this and send you a notification when I'm able to assist you further. We have met a new character. Milton. This is pretty bold. What do you mean? Oh. Wait, what is this? My waffles? There's a new waffle area?
There are mysteries in my garden, hidden roads and secret gates. If you dedicate yourself to understanding them, you may join the host of messengers.
I like this game. I like arguing with Milton. And I like being flashbanged when I load into new areas.
I know all. My power knows no bounds. And yet your will is free because you were made to be free. It is the very principle of your existence, without which the trials of this world would hold no meaning. To seek salvation must be your choice.
But isn't like being made with free will a paradox?
When I was in 9th grade, my parents took me to Pompeii. At first, I was amazed by the feeling of walking through an ancient city. But then I suddenly got scared. I realized that I was walking through a real place, where real people had lived, people like myself, with mothers and fathers and lives and hopes and dreams. And now it was all gone forever. I ran to my father, crying, and told him about this. And he said, I remember so clearly, he said, yes, but we are here. So long as there are people in the streets, the past isn't really gone.
I don't know if you realize, but there is circuitry inside of you. Be carefully. I mean, isn't being made with free will just like technically a paradox? Because then you don't really have like, you didn't have the freedom to select whether or not you wanted to have free will. Therefore, by being like given free will against your own volition, that like nullified your freedom. I don't know. Only in like a very like technical sense. Like you technically didn't have the free will to decide to have free will if you were created with free will. Someone chose to give you that free will for you. It's a paradox. She examined the symbol on the fragment she'd found in the buried city. Again, the owl. What could its significance be? It seemed as if they had scattered about in the labyrinth by some unseen hand for a purpose yet eluded. Most likely the owl was the sigil of the author of these words, which had a nebulous memory, as if from a previous life. The owl was a symbol of and the goddess of outside, under the moon, or perhaps on the city walls when the wind rose. But there was no time to contemplate this further now, for the automatons had seen her, and their mechanical arms extended towards the fragment and ran as their beams converged on I prefer to think of it as you gain free will once you're aware and sentient enough to grasp it. I don't believe plants and animals have free will for the most part. I think I disagree with that for the most part. Not in the sense, I think I disagree with the fact that plants and animals don't have free will. But it's more of like, it's not that I'm certain that they do have free will. It's more just like, I'm not certain that they don't. I think plants and animals likely have some sort of will that, or could have some sort of will that perhaps we just don't understand from our perspective fully. I think instincts prohibit free will. I mean, humans operate on a lot of instincts too. But I think you're probably, like, they probably do less so than animals. And so I do think that you're on to something. But you know, clearly there's some sort of like sliding scale where, you know, clearly like humans aren't entirely devoid of instinct, but we still say that we have free will, whereas animals simply operate more on instinct. And so it might be accurate to say that they have less free will, but I mean, not no free will, right? And that would probably mean that some animals have more of a free will than others. Like maybe like the more intelligent animals, like, I don't know, dolphins or octopi or whales or elephants or gorillas or whatever. Nadia Serbai, ask me anything. As one of the founders of the modern science of nomadics, many credit you with inventing the term itself. How do you see the state of science today? Sorry I said science twice. Mixed. On one hand, the existence of the Institute for Applied Pneumatics and a couple of similar organizations is highly encouraging. On the other hand, the degree to which science is seen as serving purely military or corporate causes is, in my opinion, stopping us from exploring many important avenues of research. In a sense, it's people like Alexandra Drennan who are the real pioneers today, who have the enthusiasm and dedication that the system as a whole seems to be lacking. Do you think technology poses a danger to humanity? No, technology is just a tool. What we do with it is up to us. The Extended Lifespan Project, crazy or visionary? Both. Crazy or visionary? Both. Arkady, is that you? I don't know what just happened here in this sentence. It's also why I think sentience plays a part. You need to be aware to fight an instinct and to be able to determine the consequences of either action, giving you a choice, which could be interpreted as free will, IMO. I do think, though, that I mean, I don't know. So the thought process that I'm having right now, though, is that, like, in a given moment in time, which is very transient, you know, you move from one moment in time to the next moment in time, at all moments in time, unending. The onslaught of time upon us is never ending. But like at a given moment in time, everything that there is about you is already like there. Like it's already all like in you right then. And so like all of the capacity that you had to make the choices that you were going to make were like all already there, and in a sense, like you were already going to make those choices when the opportunity came up. And I feel like that, you know, very dangerously like approaches some sort of like predetermination type thing. And it's not to say that like, you know, like I'm not incapable of like being convinced to one thing as opposed to the other thing, but that's kind of like why I described like at each moment in time, you know, there is some like transient element to it, but like I feel like much like a computer or much like a machine in some way, whatever choices we're going to make at a moment in time are like programmed into us by like our environmental factors and our, you know, upbringing and like societal values and all of those things. And so, you know, I feel like animals that like quote unquote might have less free will than us, you know, like they do still make choices, but you know, in a sense, they just have, like, fewer choices to make, maybe. I mean, I think in a lot of cases, like we as humans do still operate on instincts, but it's just that like our instincts are kind of based more in like the environment and the society that we exist within, and like our peers and the people that we're talking to and the people that we're interacting with. You know, like I would make like two very similar situations, but like two different people in the room. I might do something different with one person in the room versus if I did it with like another person in the room. Like, Shinny, whether like you were in the room or whether it was just like me and mysterious third roommate in the room. The situation might be the same, but the choice might be different. I don't know. I guess maybe I'm abstracting a little too much what is like the difference between like trying to rationalize through something and what is instinct. And I think maybe part of it is like I almost believe that like rationalizing through things like that is just like what we do as humans. And I almost feel like maybe like that is our instinct in a way. I mean, for some people it's not though. Anyways, whatever. Devil Zone. I finally managed to catch one of your streams again. How are you doing? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. It's good to see you. We're finally playing the Talos Principle. I say finally. I've played it like a million years ago, but they just released Reawakened, which is kind of like a remake of the game. And so we get to play it again. Yay. So far, all the puzzles are solvable and completely within the necessary parameters. Alexander had a few more tweaks she wanted to suggest, and I think we're heading in the right direction here. Coming in, this stream was way deeper than I expected. That's what this game is. It's puzzles and philosophy. And so, I hope you're into that. I think the last time I managed to catch your stream, you were also playing the Talos Principle. It might have been the Talos Principle 2, unless it was a really long time ago. I mean, it could have been that it was a really long time ago. I don't know, let's see. The last time you sent a message was December 24th. I was probably playing the Talos Principle 2 at that time. I played like the Talos Principle 1 over a year ago at this point. Over probably a year and a half ago. Oh man, it's been a while. The singularity is coming. You know, the more I think about it, the more I believe that no one is actually worried about AIs taking over the world or anything like that, no matter what they say. What they're really worried about is that someone might prove once and for all that consciousness can arise from matter. And I kind of understand why they find it so terrifying. If we can create a sentient being, where does that leave the soul? Without mystery, how can we see ourselves as anything other than machines? If we are machines, what hope do we have that death is not the end? What really scares people is not the artificial intelligence in the computer, but the natural intelligence they see in the mirror. These spaces make no sense. I walk into a dead end and materialize in a garden. One is day, the other is night. This space is not real. James 2, because one was taken. Get it together, James. We're in a video game. A video game, if you will. Time for puzzles. Never thought about AI that way, but it makes sense. I love this game. I frankly spend like more time in like the panels, kind of like talking through myself, like talking with myself through my thought process about like, you know, rationalizing my answer to the prompts. I'd spend more time doing that than I actually do doing the puzzles. Because, I mean, I'm just kind of like a puzzler at heart. And the puzzles aren't really the hard part for me. Let's see, I should block this one. Or perhaps if I just put it up here on a pedestal, it would go over both of them. Yeah. Simple. Okay, so what's this then? It's like a star over there? And so where do we get blue from? Maybe across the way? Brah. You got any blue in here? Another waffle piece. Let's put you over here. And then I think I need another laser here, which will let me get this one here. And now I don't need either of these. Do that. So instead I can go over here. And now this is open from the inside, so I can retrieve these both. But it doesn't need to be blue, it still needs to be red. Brada! Okay, and then now that I grabbed that and this is open, then I can route the blue here to grab it all the way from over there. Oh, I need that though. Bruh. A star. Secrets for me. What's over here? Message in a bottle. A terminal. A problem has been detected and Windows has shut down to prevent damage to your computer. The problem was caused by the following file. spcmdcon.sys. Page fault in non-paged area. There's nothing funny here. Good old blue screen of death. Uh-huh. Now you just get the stupid frowny face. If it even does blue screen. Nowadays, Windows is just like, aw, dang it. I kind of felt pretty boxed in when I first got here, but I guess I didn't look very closely. There's a whole other area. I have read a message on a wall that speaks of a world of endless sand. I would like to make it far enough to see that. Pinhole windows. Windows. These sigils are becoming harder to reach. I dread what the next temple holds in store. And at the end of what? And then at the end, what? Eternal life? There's gotta be another way. Sheep asking the hard questions. Oh, but I need more laser. Is there no more laser? Oh, they're in here. I will go and lurk now. Need to start working. Okay, well, thanks for stopping by, Devil Zone. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope work is good. And thanks for stopping by. I think we can make long-term decisions based on experiences from the past, whereas animals can get experience, but only further hones instincts and doesn't really give them a choice. I think I disagree. I mean, I do think that humans are capable of, you know, taking their experiences and making more long-term decisions. But I don't see how the process of us doing that and an animal, quote-unquote, honing their instincts is really any different. I think they're basically the same thing. We're just better at it than an animal is. Or I guess than a non-human is. we're better at carrying that forward into more like long-term decisions. I think it's that, like, my sentiment is that, like, humans still primarily, like, act on instinct. It's just that, like, our instincts are much more sophisticated than, you know, like, a non-human where, you know, we would end up spending a lot more time kind of like verifying our choice or our instincts. Whereas an animal, like a non-human animal, would probably just go. And so, I mean, it's not as though I necessarily, like, disagree entirely. I think it's more just kind of like I don't know, semantics. Where it's just like, I'm just like not entirely convinced that like what we're doing is necessarily that's something that's like super different from what an animal is doing. An animal would always choose to eat to survive, but a human can see the consequences of eating or not making a decision. If eating would harm someone you care about, maybe some might starve instead, but others might not eat to survive as well, living alongside the animal. See, I mean, but like, we are animals. And like, our like evolution has just like brought up our instincts to be kind of more like thoughtful to other humans, because we're like a societal animal. I mean, I'm not saying that like I know of an animal that would do what you're describing, but I'm not entirely convinced that, and there isn't like an animal out there. I mean, okay, there are so it's a little bit different, but when male octopi are caring for the eggs that the female octopus lays, and I do think octopi are extremely intelligent, like definitely candidates of like one of the next species that could like reach sentience when if humanity like dies out. But it's just like, I don't know. I think that it's more, all I'm trying to say is that like what we're doing is not necessarily like extremely, what was I saying? Oh yeah, the octopi. The male octopi will, when caring for the eggs laid by the female octopus, have been like known on many times to effectively like starve to death, trying to just make sure that as many of the baby octopi are able to live. And so, I mean, from like a naive perspective, just like outside looking in, like that seems very selfless to us. But I mean, it's all just, you know, they've evolved in the way that has like historically given them the best chance of survival. And in a lot of ways, we're no different. We have evolved in this way because through, you know, random chance, we've happened upon like these sets of behaviors and these genes that, you know, give us some sort of foresight to be able to know whether or not something is a good decision. But like, that's still just like, you know, like, it's just like, we're not like special. It's still just like evolution and like a progression of like instincts and evolutionary success. Like, I still don't disagree with you in the sense that like I do believe that we can, like, we have a much greater degree of free will and intelligence than any other creature on the earth. I don't feel like that's in dispute, but I just feel like kind of drawing this line of like, oh, well, we have free will, but other animals don't, just kind of like takes it a little bit further than I'm comfortable with. Because it's like saying that we have something that they don't, which, I mean, like, sure, we have greater intelligence, and perhaps that intelligence to be able to kind of remember and draw upon our past experiences in kind of like a much more deeper, calculated level, you know, maybe you can say that like gives us the ability to kind of make more choices. I think they did so out of instinct. I think that if you're starving and you decide to let your loved one eat and you die, then you are making that choice, but I don't think that that choice is made entirely without instinct. I don't feel like it's entirely like a rational choice. The very fact that we have greater intelligence is a very thing we have that animals don't. Yeah, but it's just like, it's greater intelligence. It's like a sliding scale. Like, you say, like, I don't know, I just don't like that it's almost like a binary statement. It's like, we have greater intelligence, but animals don't have greater intelligence. I mean, just because we are the most intelligent life form doesn't mean that there aren't other intelligent life forms. I guess it's kind of like, I mean, I know you probably don't think that, but it's just like, you know, every other animal on the planet isn't just like, I don't know, they aren't just stupid. You could say just about anything is a scale, if so in my eyes. And I think that's true. I think in this life, in this world, too many people are like make binary statements that like something has something or doesn't has something, and it kind of draws too many lines in the sand. And I think a lot more people in this world could benefit from, you know, accepting that some things have a bit more nuance. That things aren't just like, we have free will and animals don't. Or like, we have great intelligence and like we are intelligent and, well, I don't know. I don't want to say that because I feel like you didn't really say that. But animals operate on instinct and we don't. I think it's all just like varying degrees. I don't disagree, but there are definitely things that are not on a scale at all. I don't think that there are many things that I couldn't argue aren't, at least maybe not like a continuous scale, but I feel like most things that kind of people think of being like a binary, like it's either this or it's this, I think I can argue pretty much against all of them. Except maybe like being dead or alive. I don't know. Seek out those in this world that would help you. Though only one of us can transcend, we will all share in both the burden and the rewards. You've changed. Everything I do now, I do for those who come after me, yet in doing so, I find peace for myself as well. This paradox is the foundation of my existence. I just said we can actively act against which one could, which could be seen as free will.
In this land. You have conquered all its guardians and solved all its mysteries. Thus you are appointed its master, and you may do with it as you will.
I think I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel as comfortable as you do in saying that there just like aren't any other creatures on Earth that don't do that. I feel like I just don't know for sure. Okay, well, we did all the puzzles except for this extra thing. And so there's this, and then there's this. I would need more stars. I don't think there's any stars that I missed. Okay. Yeah, so that's cool. They kind of make you have to kind of come back to that. Okay. I don't know. I guess I do kind of want to check out what this is. Oh god, I'm so bad at these. That's not gonna work. Nope. Nope. If I mirror this, then now that fits in there, and then that doesn't go the right way around. Aha! I hate these puzzles.
Those who have discovered the holiest mysteries of my garden may come to serve me as blessed messengers. You walk now in their abode. Be respectful, for their service is born from the love that transcends death. And their love is for you also.
Okay, wait, so I have done this before. Why don't I remember the weird, like, waffle pieces? Okay. Well, I'm gonna stop stream there for tonight, I think. And so, we got pretty much an entire area done with, you know, a lot of waffling and talking and everything in between. And so, yeah, so that probably means 2 more streams to finish the other 2 areas, and then maybe 1 more stream to maybe clean up the secrets and finish the end of the game. And then, I don't know, will I do Road to Gehenna? I guess I probably should, since, you know, I wasn't saving the VODs. I don't think a gem can be on the same scale as the air. Well, I mean, you know, it all kind of, like, we do have to do a little bit of defining, like, what is, like, the sliding scale. Like, you have to put one thing on one end of the scale, and then you have to put another thing on the other end of the scale. I feel like a gem and air aren't really comparable. But, like, you know, a diamond is basically just made from, like, a lattice of carbon. But also, like, if you just, like, burn some wood and you get ash, that's also carbon. And so those are kind of, like, not exactly a sliding scale, because, you know, the crystal lattice arrangements are specific for each one, and they're different materials. But there is kind of, like, you know, various forms that the material comes in, and it goes from, like, one to the other. I don't feel like you can put, like, anything on a scale. But you can't, like, I feel like there's always enough comparison to be made between at least 2 different things that you can likely find more nuance in one thing than maybe you had initially thought. I guess that's my takeaway. And that's also my cue. Alrighty. Good night, everybody. Is anyone else playing this game? No. I'm the only one streaming the Talos Principle Reawakening. See, I never want to, like, raid someone I've never raided before if I don't intend on at least sticking around for a bit, and I think I'm going straight to bed. So who could I raid? I'm just not gonna raid. Classic me maneuver. Good night, everybody.